Hello, everyone, and welcome to my 100th episode of Positive Forward Motion. To celebrate, I decided to share clips from my top 4 most listened to 8-minute or less episodes. But before I get started, I'd like to also share a personal goal that I just accomplished this past weekend. During the global crisis back in March, as I was cleaning out my garage and organizing my life, I think I was possibly doing what most of us started to do, and that was control what we could when everything else just seemed so out of control. I dusted off my road bike, and as I did, I was reminded how much I've always enjoyed road biking. Of all the sports I've ever done, biking has always been my favorite. It clears my head, it gives me great focus, I get to enjoy the scenery. I have to put away my phone, I can't look at my electronics, and it allows me to improve both my mental and physical health. So I set a goal. My first goal was to get back to doing at least 20 miles. And then once I got comfortable with that, I'd increase and set my focus on accomplishing a century ride. And that's 100 miles. And of course, I set my intention to do it just in time to celebrate my 100th Positive Forward Motion episode. And yay, I did it. I will tell you though, very honestly, when I said yes to the group that I was scheduled to ride this century with, I got anxious, scared, worried. I started thinking, what if I'm not ready? What if I don't make it? What if I'm the slowest rider? What if this? What if that? The fear started kicking in. Then I turned that mindset around and I practice what I teach and said to myself, what if I do it? What if I can? All I need to do is prepare and be my best, and then show up and take one positive forward motion pedal at a time. And you know what? I did it. I did 102.82 miles to be exact. So remember, no matter where you are right now, just get started. And if you're afraid, then I think that's great news because I bet it means your goal is worth going after. I believe in you and you should believe in you too. Thank you so much for listening in and allowing me the opportunity to share my 100th Positive Forward Motion episode with you. My Positive Forward Motion topic, environment, is one of our all-time most listened to 8-minute or less topics. In this episode, I discuss how emotional stress affects us in negative ways, diminishing our health and our happiness. Many times, this emotional stress is triggered by our environment without us even realizing it. So let me explain. I'm sure you're aware that emotional stress can keep us from reaching our full potential, right? Well, environmental stress is just as important. We need to pay as much or perhaps even more attention to our environment because it's proven that environment affects our behavior, which in turn affects our emotional well-being. A cluttered, dirty, unorganized work or home environment, even a dirty car or a messy purse or backpack can have a negative effect on our behavior and daily performance. The stress of an unpleasant environment has been proven to make us feel anxious or sad, even helpless at times. An unpleasant environment can affect our blood pressure, heart rate, muscle tension, and did you know this? It also is known to suppress our immune system. You can go back and listen to this episode to hear the 6 ways you can create a better environment that will increase your health, happiness, and overall well-being. The next is highlights from my episode 80-20 rule. So the general idea is that 80% of the results come from just 20% of the people. And at first, I have to admit, I was totally confused because I thought, well, why? Are 20% of us smarter than the others? Are 20% of us luckier than the others? Then I was like, wait, oh, I see. Only 20% of the people are willing to do what it takes to reach their goals. And because only 20% of people are willing to put forth 80% of the effort that it takes to reach the top 20% of the results. Then I have to tell you, that got me really excited because I knew that if I was a newbie in sales and I focused and worked harder than everyone else in my company, that I would be one of those to make it to the top and produce 80% of the sales. So guess what? You could say I was lucky because Number one, I loved math and this made sense to me. And I was never afraid of hard work. And the harder I worked, the more people I talked to. And the more people I talked to, the more I learned. And the more connections I made and the more successful I became. And then I started to wonder, what would happen if I applied this 80-20 rule to other areas of my life? And here are 2 of the 7 examples I give. Think about what usually happens when you're faced with a problem or challenge. Do you spend most of your time complaining, worrying, and talking about the problem? That's giving all of your focus to the problem. And you know what? That's exhausting, and you really aren't going to get anywhere. So instead, next time you're faced with a problem or a challenge, try this. Focus 20% of your time identifying your problem and 80% of your time focusing on the solution. Get people excited to want to do more for you and with you. So if you want to persuade a boss, a coworker, a family member, a friend, or even a customer into action, then be sure that you give 80% of the conversation is focused on the benefit as it relates to them, and only 20% of the conversation trying to convince them about what it is you want them to do for you. Trust me, when you try this and practice it, you're going to see great results. Of course, you can go back and listen to the entire episode to learn where the 80-20 rule originated. You might want to go back and listen because you may be surprised. The next top listen to episode is the topic of mindfulness. When I take the time to practice being mindful, I feel as if I'm on top of the world riding a wonderful wave. Here are some clips I hope you enjoy. Fortunately for me, when I start feeling detached and stressed, it hits me hard and quick, which I have learned to pay attention to so I can work on getting back on track. When I'm in the flow of life, feeling connected, inspired, and present, it feels like I am on a surfboard riding a big, beautiful wave. And when I am discontent, anxious, overwhelmed, and feeling out of sorts, it's like I got knocked off my surfboard and I'm out in the ocean all alone treading water. Sometimes I look up and I can see my surfboard so close and I can get back up, but other times I feel like I've been lost at sea for days. And I have found that the longer I practice, the easier it is to recognize when I'm going astray, which helps me to get back up and ride this beautiful wave of life. So if life has been tossing you around and you're feeling lost at sea, well, I have good news for you. You can gain back control by letting go and practicing mindfulness. As soon as you wake up, do not grab your cell phone or turn on the TV. Instead, take a deep breath. Give yourself 12 minutes to wake up to a new day by sitting quietly or putting on some soft music. Number 2, pick up your phone. Find an app that has a meditation app. There are so many out there that will guide you through a meditation, that you can do some that are 3 minutes, 5 minutes long, and some of them will even send you a reminder to stop and be more mindful. Number 3, take a 10-minute walk. Leave your cell phone behind. Take a deep breath. Look up and take note of all the beautiful colors in our world. And while you're walking, count how many different colors you see. That will really help you be mindful and help you practice mindfulness. Plus, you get some fresh air and a little exercise while you're at it. And now is the 4th most listened to episode, titled Willpower. In order to have better self-control, we need to better understand our own behavior and also identify these 3 things. Number 1, what is your I will? Number 2, what is your I won't? And number 3, what is your I want? Take it a step at a time. Taking on too much only sets us up for failure. This is why many New Year's resolutions usually fail, because people get into the all or nothing mode. So pace yourself. Remember, you need to grow and strengthen your willpower muscle one positive step at a time. Think of it this way. If your goal was to lift 250 pounds and you never worked out a day in your life, You wouldn't expect to go to the gym and lift that right away in a day, right? You would build up and work towards your goal. Well, the same goes for your willpower muscle. Slow and steady is the name of the game here. Having willpower and self control really is good for us, but we have to be careful because too much of it can be bad for us. So I invite you to go back and listen to the entire episode to learn more. Thank you for supporting Positive Forward Motion. And don't forget to tune in every Wednesday for a brand new episode that will empower, motivate, and inspire you to be your best both personally and professionally. And as always, you can find a free PDF worksheet of my action steps under each podcast episode on my website, denisescattergood.com. And if you'd like to stay in the know of all things Positive Forward Motion, like workshops and special events, be sure to connect with me on Instagram and Facebook at Denise Scattergood. You can find me on Twitter at Alert Trainers. You can also text the word positive to 3131 31 and you'll be opted in for updates and daily doses of positivity. If you enjoyed this episode, please review and share to help spread our message of positivity. And remember, no matter how small your step is, as long as you take it in the right direction, that's what I call positive forward motion.